Have you ever noticed how people who love silence act like they've just discovered a new form of oxygen? Like they walk into a quiet room, take a deep breath, and you think they just landed on a beach in Bali. Meanwhile, the rest of us are one loud neighbor away from a full psychological breakdown. You know the type. They'll say things like, "I just need some peace and quiet," and then stare at you until you physically stop breathing so it doesn't disturb their vibes. If you're the kind of person who turns off the TV just to hear the gentle hum of your own refrigerator, congratulations, you might be in this club. And let's be honest, if you need complete silence to function, you probably think libraries are just slightly too rowdy. But here's the real question. Why do some people crave silence like it's the last slice of pizza, while others treat awkward silences like they're being waterboarded by their own thoughts? And what does loving silence actually say about your personality, your brain, and maybe that one weird childhood incident involving a malfunctioning fire alarm? Let's break down the psychology of people who worship silence, and why most of us could never survive a meditation retreat longer than 7 minutes. 1. The Ninja of Noise Avoidance. You know you're a silence lover when you've memorized every floorboard in your house that creaks. You tiptoe around like you're in Mission Impossible just to avoid making a sound. Honestly, you could rob your own home and nobody would know. Psychologists call this sensory processing sensitivity. Basically, your brain is like, hey, let's process every sound at maximum volume for no reason. So even the sound of a distant car horn feels like Coachella in your living room. It's not that you're dramatic, it's that your nervous system is running Windows 95 and can't handle too many tabs open. So if you've ever actually yelled at a clock for ticking too loud, congratulations, you're not alone. And you might have the makings of a professional spy, or just someone who hates wristwatches. 2. The Awkward Silence Appreciator. Everyone else dreads awkward silences. People who love silence, they treat it like a spa day for their soul. In fact, they'll actually make it more awkward just to see who cracks first. It's like a psychological staring contest, but with words. This comes from high levels of self-comfort and lower social anxiety. Psychologists call it low need for external stimulation. Your brain isn't desperate for validation from every passing conversation. You don't need to fill the air with noise. You're just happy letting your thoughts marinate, like a weird little stew of existential questions and grocery lists. If you've ever let a conversation die just to see what happens, congrats. You're playing 5D chess while everyone else is desperately looking for the mute button on life. But here's where it gets weird. 3. The Silent Overthinker. People who love silence are Olympic-level overthinkers. You give them 2 minutes alone, and they'll rewrite their entire life story 6 times. You put them in a quiet room, and suddenly it's a TED Talk delivered by their own inner critic. This is called introspective rumination. The quieter it is, the louder their thoughts get. It's like their brain is running a podcast that never takes commercial breaks. But don't worry, this isn't all bad. Introspection helps you process emotions, solve problems, and occasionally invent arguments you'll never actually have. If you've ever rehearsed a conversation with your boss, your ex, and your childhood hamster, all before breakfast, you might be a silent overthinker. And your inner monologue probably deserves its own Netflix special. Okay, but the next one is the one nobody talks about. 4. The Selective Socializer. Here's a classic move. You turn down party invites with, "Sorry, I have plans." But your real plan is just to sit in silence and reorganize your sock drawer. Twice. For silence lovers, social energy is like cell phone data. If you use it all up, you're done for the month. Psychologically, this is linked to introversion and social energy budgeting. You don't hate people, you just need to ration your words like you're on a desert island, and vowels are limited. So if you've ever canceled plans and felt actual joy, you don't need therapy. You need a do not disturb sign for your soul. If this is already blowing your mind, I actually put together a full guide that breaks down all of these patterns step by step. It's in the description if you want to go way deeper on this. But brace yourself because we're not done yet. 5. The Master of Micro Escapes. Ever notice how silence lovers will escape noisy places like it's a zombie apocalypse? One loud laugh at a party and they're plotting a getaway, worthy of Ocean's 11. They're experts at the Irish exit, and they'll vanish so fast you'll start checking the security cameras. This is about cognitive load management. Your brain only has so much bandwidth, too much noise, and you're mentally buffering like an old YouTube video at 240p. So you retreat, recharge, and return to society only when there's at least a 70% chance you won't hear a blender. If you've ever hidden in the bathroom just to listen to silence, congratulations. You are both relatable and slightly mysterious, and you'd think that's the craziest part. But oh no. 6. The Soundtrack Connoisseur. People who love silence are picky about sound. They don't just crave quiet, they curate it. You ask them what music they like, and they'll say, rain sounds, but only from the Norwegian fjords recorded in 1983. This ties back to auditory gating, your brain's ability to filter noise. When you love silence, you become a DJ for your own mental health. Every sound is a potential intruder. If it's not handpicked, it's not welcome. If you've ever spent 40 minutes picking the perfect white noise just to sleep for 6, you are absolutely in this club. And also, you probably have a playlist titled Silence, Please. Now this one is going to personally attack about 90% of you watching this. 7. The silent judger. Let's be real. Silence lovers are silently judging everyone who can't shut up. You're at brunch and someone is loudly retelling a story, and you're just sitting there manifesting a mute button with the power of your mind. You might not say it out loud, but internally, you're the Simon Cowell of sound. Why? Because of high self-regulation. You value calm, and when others disturb it, you feel personally affronted. But here's the kicker. You're also judging yourself for judging them. It's a silent spiral of polite contempt. If you've ever thought, could everyone just not, and then immediately felt bad about it, you're a silent judger. Welcome to the club. Meetings are held in your head, and nobody's allowed to talk. So let's connect these dots, but let's keep it fun. All these traits tie back to how your brain handles stimulation. There's this thing called arousal theory. No, not that kind, where everyone has a sweet spot for how much input they can handle before they turn into a Wi-Fi router with too many devices. Some people need more, some need less. Silence lovers? They're operating on the same energy-saving mode as your grandma's flip phone. Their brains hit maximum bandwidth after someone sneezes twice in a row. It's a little like cognitive dissonance. You want to love people, but you also want them to be quiet. You crave connection, but only if it's under 60 decibels. And if you relate to any of this, congratulations, you're not weird. You're just operating at a higher level of self-preservation. Or possibly you're a cat in a human body. Look, if you actually want to get better at reading people, not just watching videos about it, I put together a complete guide called the Human Behavior Code. It breaks down every pattern, every signal, every trick we talked about today, plus a ton more. It's all in the description below. Less manipulation, more opportunity, money, and better relationships. And even if you just want to keep watching free videos, hit subscribe. I drop new psychology breakdowns every week, so which of these personally attacked you the most? Let me know below. Just keep the comment section quiet, okay?